Fifth grade Battle of the Books for the 2015-2016 school year. Midnight Magic by Avi. On a stormy night in the kingdom of Perigminto, Mangus the magician is summoned to the king's castle. Because Mangus has been under house arrest for confessing to be a magician, he and his loyal servant boy, Fabrizio, cannot imagine why the king is calling for him. But magic is exactly what the king needs. Night after night, a terrifying ghost has been haunting the princess, and the king demands that Mangus free his daughter from its torment, or pay with his life. Since Mangus doesn't believe in ghosts, his only hope is Fabrizio, who must solve the mystery using logic and reason, and a bit of magic on his own. Will they free the princess? Read Midnight Magic by Avi to find out. The Fairy Tale Detectives by Michael Buckley. For Sabrina and Daphne Grimm, life hasn't been a fairy tale. After the mysterious disappearance of their parents, the sisters are sent to live with their grandmother, a woman they believed was dead. Granny Relda reveals the girls have two famous ancestors, the brothers Grimm, whose classical books of fairy tales is actually a collection of case files of magical mischief. Now the girls must take on the family responsibility of being fairy tale detectives. Their first case, a roller coaster ride of adventure to stop a giant from destroying their new hometown. Can they do it? Read The Fairy Tale Detectives by Michael Buckley to find out. Because of Mr. Trupt by Rob Bouillet. It's the start of 5th grade for 7 kids at Snow Hill School. There's Jessica, the new girl, smart and perceptive, who's having a hard time fitting in. Alexia, a bully, your friend one second, your enemy the next. Peter, class prankster and troublemaker. Luke, the brain. Danielle, who never stands up for herself. Shy Anna, whose home situation makes her an outcast. And Jeffrey, who just hates school. Only Mr. Trupt, their new teacher, seems to know how to deal with them all. He makes the classroom a fun place, even if he doesn't let them get away with much, until the snowy winter day when an accident changes everything, and everyone. To find out what happens, read Because of Mr. Trupt by Rob Bouillet. Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. On a long car trip from Ohio to Idaho, 13-year-old Salamanca Tree Hiddle tells her grandparents about her friend Phoebe, who's coping with the disappearance of her mother. Beneath Phoebe's story is Sal's search for her own mother, who left one Sunday morning and never returned. Will she find out what happens? Read Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech to find out. Bull Run by Paul Fleischman. This book is a story about a battle within the American Civil War, told by 16 different narrators, northern and southern, male and female, young and old, white and black. Each point of view is strikingly different and utterly unbelievable. Among the protagonists, Toby Boyce, an 11-year-old from Georgia, teaches himself to play the fife, hoping that will get him into the front. Lily Malloy, a Minnesota farm girl, waits for letters from her beloved brother, who has run away to join the Union Army. Told that Negroes are not allowed to fight at the front, light-skinned Gideon Adams passes for white and signs up anyway. Carlotta King, a slave accompanying her master to war, resolves to flee north at the earliest opportunity. Read Bull Run to learn about this pivotal event within the Civil War. Bull Run by Paul Fleischman. The Liberation of Gabriel King by K.L. Going. Gabriel King was a born chicken. He's afraid of spiders, corpses, loose cows, and just about everything related to the 5th grade. Gabe's best friend, Frida Wilson, thinks Gabe needs some liberating from his fears. Frida knows something about being brave. She's the only black kid in school in a town with an active Ku Klux Klan. Together, Gabe and Frida are going to spend the summer of 1976 facing down the fears of Gabe's list. But it turns out that Frida has her own list. And while she's helping Gabe confront his fears, she's avoiding the thing that scares her the most. To find out, read The Liberation of Gabriel King by K.L. Going. Mission Unstoppable by Dan Gutman. Coke and Pepsi McDonald didn't want to jump off a cliff. They didn't want to get hit by poison darts from blowguns either. And they certainly don't want to get locked in their burning school, thrown into a pit at the top of a sand dune, or drowned in a vat of liquefied spam. But what are you supposed to do when you're being chased across the country by your insane health teacher and 2 guys in bowler hats who are trying to kill you? One thing's for sure. It'll be a snap for Coke and Pep to write their essay on how I spent my summer vacation. Read Mission Unstoppable by Dan Gutman. Chasing the Falconers by Gordon Corman. Aiden and Meg Falconer are their parents' only hope. The Falconers are facing life in prison unless Aiden and Meg can follow a trail of clues to prove their innocence. The problem? Right now they're trapped in a juvenile detention center until they escape one night and find themselves on the run, both from the authorities and from a sinister attacker who has his own reason to stop them. The Falconers must use their wits to make it across the country, with plenty of tests along the way. Can they rescue their parents? Find out by reading Chasing the Falconers by Gordon Corman. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. August Pullman is not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. Sure, he's a huge Star Wars fan. He loves his dog, and he's got a pretty good sense of humor. But August was born with a craniofacial abnormality, a genetic defect that causes his facial features to be severely deformed. His life has never really been normal. Despite his differences, August and his parents decide to transition him from homeschool to private school now that he's entering 5th grade. It's the start of middle school, they reason, so everyone will be new. But August has to deal with so much more than just being new. Will he make friends? Will he decide to stay at the school? And can the people around him learn to see past his appearance? To find out, read Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Kizzy Ann Stamps by Jerry Watts. In 1963, as Kizzy Ann prepares for her first year at an integrated school, she worries about the color of her skin, the scar running from the corner of her right eye to the tip of her smile, and whether anyone at the white school will even like her. She writes letters to her new teacher in a clear, insistent voice, stating her troubles and asking questions with startling honesty. The new teacher is supportive, but not everyone feels the same, so there's a lot to write about. Her brother, James, is having far less positive school experience than she is, and the annoying white neighbor boy won't leave her alone. But Shag, her border collie, is her refuge. Even so, opportunity clashes with obstacles. Kizzy Ann knows she and Shag could compete well in the dog trials, but will she be able to enter? To find out, read Kizzy Ann Stamps by Jerry Watts.